Entra ID and Azure uses built-in roles to manage access and permissions within the directory and subscriptions. These roles control what users can do within Entra ID and within Azure subscriptions. Let's discuss some of the built-in roles. One disclaimer though I would like to make here. What I'm calling here as Azure resource roles is not Entra ID as such, but because we discussed the trust relationship between Entra ID and subscription, we have to cover this one here. In most of the use cases, when you work as a tenant admin, you also end up managing resource level permissions as well, hence the coverage here. The roles that I mentioned here is highly popular roles and there are many in both the category. As you can see on the screen, I have covered 4 of them in each category, but that's not the complete list. So let's discuss the roles. Global administrator have full access to all Entra ID features and settings. This role can manage users, groups, applications and directory settings. This is the primary role for managing overall Entra ID configurations and setting. This is the very powerful role. User administrator can manage user accounts and groups, including creating new users, resetting passwords and managing user settings, and they can handle day-to-day user management tasks. Application administrator manages application registrations and permissions. They can add, configure and remove application and their permissions. They oversee application related tasks such as registering new apps and managing app permissions. Security administrator manages security setting and alerts. They can view security reports and configure security policies. They focus on monitoring and managing security related aspects of Entra ID. Azure Resource Manager roles control access to Azure resources such as virtual machine, storage account, and databases. These roles define what actions user can perform on these resources. Owner role have full access to all resources, including the ability to delegate access to others. They are ideal for users who need complete control over resources and the ability to assign roles to others. Contributor have full access to manage resources but cannot delegate access to others. For users who need to create and manage resources but don't need to assign roles to permissions. Reader can view resources but cannot make changes. This role is ideal for users who need to access and view resources without altering them. User access administrator manages user access to Azure resources. They can assign roles and manage permissions. They handle assigning and managing access to resources. In summary, Entra ID roles focus on managing identities and access within the Entra ID service. These Entra ID roles ensure users have appropriate permissions for identity-related tasks, whereas Azure Airbag or resource roles focus on managing access to Azure resources and let you control what users can do with various resources. Entra ID authenticates users and provides their identities to Azure. Azure Airbag then uses these identities to enforce access control based on the roles assigned. This relationship ensures that user permissions are consistent across both identity management and resource management, which enables secure and effective access control.